Hey, everybody. Welcome to Bottled Up, a wine podcast of sorts. I'm your host, Sean Linehan, and I'm here with our other host.
It's me, Jen Wearing.
It's you, Jen Wearing. Welcome, Jen Wearing. How are you doing today?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm not too bad. I wish this wind would stop trying to blow my house down.
Dude, why do we always record on the windiest days of the year? It's like we actually look at our weather apps and say, "Oh, hurricane perfect. Let's record that night."
We've got a gale warning. Great.
I'm in. Gale Weathers? No, that's different. She's in Scream. But also probably very busy still being a reporter in that
Wait,
universe.
didn't they offer in the latest one?
I don't remember.
Because they did like Scream 4 a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah.
Guess I know what I'm doing tonight.
Well, looky at that. I just rewatched the first Scream when she's still alive. Scream 4, she has the very unfortunate bangs.
Oh, right. Okay.
Which made you want to kill her.
They all blend into one giant scream.
It looked like her child cut them, for fuck's sake.
Well,
anyway,
I think they did.
They might have.
Because
good Lord in heaven above, we are ready to scream today with this wind. But also, for those of you listening on the day it drops as opposed to the windy day we're recording, happy St. Patrick's Day to ya.
That's right. Let all the leprechauns bring you beer and then go find your wine.
Yeah, have a bowl of Lucky Charms and a glass of wine. That's how I like to start my day anyway. So why not also on St. Patrick's Day?
Do you ever just skip the milk? Just go straight for the
be honest,
Pinot Gris?
Not since college. There were certainly some times in college when I was like, how bad could Captain Crunch be with this beer? And the answer was bad. But so I do the cereal first, and then I'm like, okay, well, it's 5:00 somewhere. Let's go.
I do remember a time not too long ago. So my college years, which are actually like an age ago,
sure.
When I was with a friend on the morning of St. Patrick's Day, and we were making pancakes from like the Aunt Jemima mix.
Oh, nice, sure.
But we ran out of milk, but we had beer.
Why not?
So it was St. Patrick's Day. It just seemed appropriate. We made beer Jemima pancakes, and they were awful, but we ate them because we were poor.
You know what? Sometimes cancel culture would work out. And it would have worked out with your beer Jemima pancakes. What a silly plan. I have used beer in like chocolate cake. So there is a place for beer in your baking, not unlike wine in your cookies. But we don't want anyone to toss their cookies when they're done with this baking with boozies.
Yeah. Please
Baking
don't.
with the boozies.
Well, because St. Patrick's Day comes from Ireland. Ireland starts with I. It's Wine Wednesday. We got to go I. So we're talking Italy.
So perfect. Wow, did that hurt? But I liked it. It's
inception
nice. It reminds me of this quote I found about Chianti from the great Peter Landberg, who I have no idea who he was, but some sort of wine guy. But this was the quote. Drink Chianti and you will sleep well. Sleep well and you will not sin. Avoid sin and you will be saved. Ergo, drink Chianti and be saved.
You heard it here first. Our gentle listeners, drink your Chianti.
Hey, man, chug it up. No, and well, what's funny is that when I Googled Peter Landberg to figure out who the hell he was and why I should read that aloud, I couldn't find him. But oddly, he's used the exact same quote for other wines.
He must be a wine marketing guru.
Perhaps he is also responsible for the live, laugh, love nonsense I hate so much.
Nope. Keep that shit away.
No, but here's a real Chianti quote which spoke to me from the great Galette Burgess. You remember him. May or may not have been Meredith Burgess's granddad. Probably not, but he was an American artist, art critic, poet, author, and humorist who coined the term blurb. How great is that?
Important.
But he said, love endeth like the Chianti flask. Its drops are bitter. That one's deep, right?
That's deep. Because
we have a bottle of Chianti that is not in a basket which is what I assume young Galette was pouring out.
We tried.
At the time. We did try.
We searched the store up and down. We looked at their many bottles.
The basket went the way of the old world, Sean, and we're not going to find it again. Do you know what that basket is called?
I do not know what that basket is called. Please enlighten me.
I would like to. So that bottle shape itself probably dates to the 14th or the 15th centuries when the basket wrapping added extra protection and not just a fun visual for when you turn it into a candle holder. But the straw basket is called a fiasco.
Oh, is it then?
Yes. Isn't that great?
That's phenomenal. I wish I had known that. That's
fiasco.
Thank you for
coming from the Italian word for flask.
Fiasco.
Because and so multiple would be fiaschi because it would be the plural in Italian. But isn't that fun? It's like what I love when animal group names are perfect, like a crash of rhinos. A fiasco of a fiaschi of Chiantis.
That's amazing. So that's really cool. I like that one.
I enjoyed
good knowledge. So what are we drinking? I'm gonna start opening mine.
Nice. I have popped me cork as per usual because I'm Irish again. Anyway, so yeah, we have ourselves a lovely Chianti Classico from Banfi, and we'll talk a little bit more about them as a vineyard later. But it is an Italian Chianti. It is named for the region, not the
That's
grape. Right. As all of them are, and ours is a 2018.
This is the 2018 Banfi Classico, Chianti Classico.
It was a simpler time.
Yeah.
2018.
Was it? I mean,
no, but it wasn't the same as it is now.
Yeah. I'm going to pop my cork here.
Nice. I'm pouring. Fresh. My favorite thing is all of the fun stickers. It does have a lot of stickers. It's got a cock on the back. It's got the DOCG, labeling. There's a lot of labeling involved with Chianti, which is all very exciting.
And that's all super important to what Chianti Classico is, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, and what that little label across the top of the bottle means, and what the big black cock on the back means. We'll talk about all this.
Sorry, you know what it means? Good times.
The rooster on the back means
good times.
But right now, I'm really thirsty.
It smells delicious. Get your face in our bottled up glass swag.
Like black cherry.
It's got a little tobacco hint going on.
Tobacco, a little like
in the back.
Like a fresh, like a new leather bag, like you just got a nice Coach purse.
Oh my God, which makes total sense because who hasn't gone to Italy and bought leather bags? I don't know. I bought leather bags. I bought leather notebooks. Was a terrible bargainer, but yeah, I can see they just squeezed the scent of it right into my Chianti.
Bought a leather man bag.
See? You got to get your leather.
All right, let's have a little tasty poo here. First, also I just want to talk real quick about that color. That is a beautiful, like ruby, like that is ruby. Like when I think about ruby, that's gorgeous. I'm excited. Okay.
It's ruby with some good legs too. She got some good legs.
Oh, ruby with the good legs.
When you swish her. You know how it is, Sean, when you swish Ruby with the good legs with your big black cock. This episode's taking a turn.
Wow. And there we go. I think we've got an album coming out.
Yeah. It's an emo album. Oh my God, this is delicious.
This is really nice. Medium bodied, little tannic structure, but not overly drying.
Nope. Very smooth on yield tongue.
And like most Chianti Classicos, it's got to be around 12% alcohol. So great, easy drinker. Good food wine.
Yeah. My God, if we had a pizza here with some prosciutto on it, I would murder it. Faster than I'd murder.
Why did you say that?
Faster than I'd murder a can of fava beans. I'll tell you that right now. Oh, man. Listen, Hannibal Lecter. I want my Chianti with a nice pizza. Or a charcuterie board, not with a liver and fava beans.
But I think I want to let this open a little bit too. So I'm going to swish it around in my glass here because we don't got all night.
And so we'll swish. Yeah.
I suspect
our Chianti.
That as oxygen hits those various phenolics and things in there, we're going to get a little bit of anise and a little bit of Maybe some ripe red raspberry.
I hope we don't get any anise. I don't like anise.
You don't like anise?
Not really. I eat it every freaking year. I'm Italian. Every freaking year, my family chops it up and slips it out on Christmas. And I'm like, why do we do this? Nobody eats it. And the plate's gone.
It's gone.
And I've eaten some. I can't I guess
it's delicious.
It's right there. And I'm like, might as well crunch it. No one put out any celery.
Fennel is a good substitute. Just don't smear peanut butter and put raisins on it.
As cute as that might be, don't do it.
Ants on a log is one thing. Ants on an anise,
not good.
Not so good.
Nobody wants ants in their anise. I've seen Naked and Afraid. They complain about that the whole show.
I've been to Florida.
Ants in there. Yeah, I was watching a little Naked and Afraid today. They were both naked.
Which one?
And afraid. I don't know. They were in. One was in Africa. And then the next people were in the swamps in Florida, which just seems like a miserable land.
Yeah. Why would you want to be naked there?
Why would you want to be naked in any of this? I mean, obviously the weight loss. Let's just start at the beginning.
Sure. Okay, great.
They all lose like 37 pounds. It's great.
That's because they're not eating anything.
Because they've eaten a grub. You know what this Chianti would go great with? A raw grub we just found in some sort of nut in the African jungle.
I wouldn't turn it down.
Oh, that is tasty. That is a tasty. Listen, Chianti was made to be an easy drinking, celebrate. Here you go, masses. We've slapped it in a fiasco. It looks delightful. You can use it as a candle holder later. Drink up.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good, just fucking pleasing. It's a pleasing wine. That's what
That's a nice
Chianti
word.
is a pleasing wine. You don't have to get too technical into it. I mean, if you want to, you can sit here and analyze this wine all day. It's got a lot going on, but you could also just say, you know what? I like this.
And you know what? I like it because it reminds me, and maybe half of this is in my head, Sean, but it reminds me, it's just Italy to me. It's a little complex. Some sips are a little louder than others. You know what I mean? You're thinking about the food that's going to come in. You can smell salami coming from the store next door. You can smell gelato coming from another store. And it's just, you got to get to you got to get to Rome. You got to get in and see the gladiators. You're very busy, but this is nice.
And you just made me think about the salami that is in my fridge right now.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm going to go grab a slice of salami.
Yeah, let's
Listeners,
take a break.
Crack open your bottle of Chianti if that's what you're drinking. Or if you're drinking your Zio Baffa Pinot Grigio from last week, crack open that and come along with us. Drink along.
Drink along, laugh along. We'll see you in a sec. Oh my gosh. And we're back. Sean is just covered in salami. He looks ridiculous. I wish you guys could see
delicious.
This.
Salome.
He's got it on his eyes like cucumber slices when he wants to look fresh.
I'm just smearing the Naduja under my eye. It's fantastic.
It's so good for the wrinkles, kids. It's not, is that a peppercorn right in your eyeball? Sean is blinded for the rest of the episode, but it's fine because he just needs to talk.
I just need my nose and my mouth.
He doesn't need to see, kids. But yeah, so we've got ourselves some nice Chianti. It's opened up a little bit. I'm still loving it like nobody's business. I can't.
It's really nice. Yeah.
I'm almost sad we didn't buy 2 bottles. This was a nice medium. This was a nice medium price Chianti, right around $15. Just so you guys know wherever you are.
Yeah, and it's Banfi, so this is going to be one that you can find. This is a big producer that you guys can find. It'll be in just about every shop in the United States or in Europe and in Asia. Like this.
Oh my gosh!
For our we don't have any listeners in Asia that I've been able to identify, but we do. Okay, we're huge in Japan. You guys can find this and you'll love it.
You're gonna love it, kids. But yeah, so let's talk a little bit about Chianti because we've hinted that there's a lot more going into this wine than we think. And one of the things Sean said that stuck for me anyway, as the non-academic here, is that because Chianti is not named for the grape, right? We've talked about Pinot Grigio, that's the actual grape. We've talked about Cabernet, that's the stinking grape. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
Malbec, Sauv Blanc, we've just done variety.
Right. But this Chianti is named for the area of Italy from whence it came. And they've been talking about it over there since 1250. Seán is the earliest date that I could find.
That's a long time ago.
It does not mean there's not earlier, but
I mean, like all Italian politics and Italian history, it's deep, and we've already talked about how wine is
complicated and changes on a dime.
Like even today in modern history, the rules around Chianti are changing. Like it's ridiculously how quick they change. But just like grapes came from kind of the Turkey, Armenia area of the Middle East, and then like boom, that's right there to Italy. And that's early days of people traveling around with grapes. So obviously,
and it was long before Eat, Pray, Love came out. I mean, this was the Tuscany of old, kids.
Right, but we all know
not the Tuscany of the movie.
Eat, Pray, Love is what propelled wine.
Yes,
in a real no,
sure,
that's
not even
entirely
a little bit.
not true.
But
everybody
there was,
go away from that thought.
And I've never seen it. But the in 1250 there was a military league, Seán, called the Lega del Chianti, and part of their job was to protect literally the Chianti region, and then the three villages from which that league was formed were the three areas that eventually became, hey, listen, this is where you can get Chianti from.
This is Chianti. And where is that? That's in the middle of Tuscany.
Yeah, smack. Yes. It's landlocked.
It's right in kind of in between Florence and Siena. And
which Chianti is why you get the leather, because you go to Florence to get your leather bags and you bargain in the marketplace.
Exactly. Well, I mean, why else are you going to Florence? Not because it's like majestic and beautiful or anything.
Stop it. That's why you almost fall into the river trying to get that one picture of the bridge. You know, everyone's going to want to buy
that one picture. Everybody already has.
The better picture is the one literally of my best friend saving me from falling into the river. Cause
that's the one to market. Let's get that on the webpage. Yeah. But yeah, no, the region of Chianti is pretty big. It's kind of the central Tuscany area. It covers a lot. And there's a lot to be said about just general Chianti. It's pretty broad. It has to be 70% Sangiovese grapes, minimum.
That's what's growing.
That's the indigenous grape to the area. It's the powerhouse grape of central Italy, and it's just a solid grape. So any just straight Chianti has to be a minimum of 70%, and then they can mix in some other local grapes or
that
some
other 30% could be anything. Could be white grapes, could be Cabernet, could be a shoe. Yep. It doesn't matter. The other 30% could be anything.
And then we're here
probably
drinking.
Not a shoe. I made that part up.
Yeah, probably not a shoe, but I know if it's a grape colored shoe, like you got Merlot leather, that's not a thing. And then there's what we're drinking right now, which is Chianti Classico. Chianti Classico comes from the central region of Tuscany. So you've got Chianti, and then draw a circle inside of Chianti, and you've got Chianti Classico. That's the historic home of Sangiovese and of Chianti wines. And everybody decided at one point, these are the best wines of Chianti. These are the things that are interesting. And they made a consortium.
Who doesn't like a consortio?
Consortio, because you know what?
Fun in Italian about
it. Italians love organized groups.
Groups is a better word.
Groups.
They do. This consortio makes cement stomping boots for your grapes if you don't play along. You know what I'm saying? I just made that up, but it could be true.
It could be true. I don't know. Don't fact check us. But so that group, the Consortio de Chianti Classico, you can always tell when a wine is approved as a Chianti Classico by the Consortio, because it'll have a picture on the back of a black rooster, the Gallo Nero, and that is their emblem.
Which is also, listen, for those of us that are Italian, what a shock that a bunch of Italian dudes chose a big cock. You know what I'm saying? That's how they think of themselves.
I didn't want to go there, but I'm not Italian American, so I can't do that.
Even my bird is screaming in the background about that. She heard the word cock. She got excited.
She thought she had a reason for her eggs.
She's like, wait, is there a friend here? No, it's just the sticker. But yeah, so you'll see there's a nice label, as we pointed out earlier, not just the rooster. That's a nice label, but there's also the DOCG official sticker right by the top of the label. That's a fancy sticker.
So DOC and DOCG. I know we say letters, people start stickers? To I die a little inside, but I'm gonna let it go. So like just like with when we talked a little bit about French wine, they have the AOCs. That's their appellation of control. And in Spain, we had the DOCs or DOO, domination of origin. But here we've got DOC and DOCG. DOCG is what you'll see on Chianti Classico, because that means it is a guaranteed denomination of control. This is absolutely the best Chianti you can get. And now within that,
I mean, I like deeper. A good sticker is right. Oh no. Cause yeah, we, boy, did I find a lot of graphics, cause there's about 7. Well, there's literally 7 levels of Chianti, and then they all have sub levels. And it is a little bit about like, it's like Cirque Hell a little bit. How deep do you want to dive into your Chianti? Some people do. I say,
there's a lot to just like we said it before, just like all Italian history, there's fucking levels, man. It's a big circular.
And they're still changing the rules. Like in the 70s, they're changing the rules.
In the 70s, in 2014, 6 years ago, they added a new level. Like that's not even that much. 70s. This is now current.
That's crazy.
And 6 years from now, they'll add another thing. But now they just added the Gran Selezione, which is a way for winemakers to say, hey, these are the best grapes because I grew them right here on this plot of land, and I bottled and made the wine right here on this. It's a estate grown. Whereas this that we're drinking, these are the best grapes that Banfi grows in all of the Chianti Classico region. They picked their best grapes from all over the region and brought it together to make this delightful wine. Whereas a Gran Selezione, they're like, these were next to my house, and they're the best expression of Sangiovese that we have. But also,
excuse me, Sean. I believe it's they were next to my villa.
sorry, these are next to my villa. I'm just picturing like a winemaker. Hey, Giuseppe goes outside and he's like, "Oh, look at those grapes. Those are my Gran Selezione." And he happened to be the president at the time. So.
And then he's like, right. Yeah, he was the head of the consortio that month. So he was like, look I'm putting a sticker on my grapes. They're mine. And also with that sticker, I can charge more money.
Yes, those Gran Selezione wines are more expensive. Just like this Chianti Classico is more expensive than a Chianti. And so this one, the Chianti Classico Banfi, also has a Reserva and a Superior. So it's a Chianti Classico Reserva, which means it's been aged a little longer. It's got a little more alcohol on it. And the Superior just means that it's a higher ABV, but it can be the same age as the Chianti Classico. So it's got more alcohol, but nothing changed.
Stopped listening like 6 sentences ago. I got it.
Yeah, I'm good.
So many
sorry.
rules. So many. No. It's not because of you, but because holy cow, Italians, calm down. Like, calm down.
They're, they're so proud and they're so regional, and they want this hillside is the best Sangiovese in Italy. So of course we have to make a rule about this being the best Sangiovese. and France did the same thing too, but they just did it more with money. A lot of their stuff comes more from money, which is an interesting topic we'll talk about some other day. The other thing you should know about
it costs more.
It costs more, but this is a big conversation, so I'm going to touch real quick.
Little. Sorry.
Back in the day, nobody, the wine growers weren't making the wine. They were selling the grapes to winemakers or to middlemen who would then sell them on. So it became more about selling the grapes and then controlling who could buy the grapes and who could make wine out of those grapes. And then eventually the growers took the power and to gain their own money and created their own districts. Like, we're going to make the best wine in the world, instead of selling it to this middleman who doesn't know how to handle our wine. That's the quick on nice. The French AOC. I know I'm going to get French. 1,000 comments that's telling me that I'm oversimplifying it and I'm wrong, but that's just a fucking gist. All right. It's a fucking gist.
Kids, I'm simple. So I like a nice, simple explanation. I'll take it. I would like to, I assume everybody who also lives in the Chianti Shire enjoys simple explanation.
Chianti Shire?
Well, it's a nickname for an area in Tuscany where many upper-class citizens have moved or spend holidays, so they decided to call it the Chianti Shire.
Do they live in hillsides?
I believe so. They're very small.
I think so. And they smoke long leaf and have furry toes.
They have very big feet. It's adorable.
And I'm not going to go on the internet where anybody can listen to me and say that most of the Italians I've met have furry toes. I'm not going to say that.
It's probably for the best, but I do. Yep. And it's fine. Who cares? I broke my arm once. I broke both bones in my forearm, and who cares? And I had a cast up to my shoulder and then a cast up to my elbow, and I hadn't seen my forearm in like 20,000 weeks when they finally took the cast off. And boy, they took that cast off, and without any sort of friction or exposure to the elements, my forearm was a baby gorilla. Holy crap. I was like, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Italian. Holy cow. It was
Monday,
bananas.
Tuesday, Friday.
Oh Lord. I was like, yes, children, my arm has furred. Well, and this Banfi, as you said, this particular folks who were drinking from here,
these producers,
they are worldwide. Even though they're looking for worldwide domination, but from a local standpoint.
Yeah, if you take the time to go to Banfi's website, they've got
it's very nice
vineyards and producers all over the world. They're in every market. They're one of the big companies that we've kind of derided in past episodes, but we really shouldn't, because these people get us wine, and it's good wine.
They do, and they also, according to their label, anyway, they show ethically responsible characteristics in their production, and that's, I mean, I didn't Google enough to see if they're lying to me, but they put it on the label, and I will take that as truth.
And that you know what, that's gonna be true, because they own so much of the land under vine in Chianti Classico, and the regulations are so strict there that of course they're going to be using the best agricultural practices.
Good. So that makes me feel better.
Something else really interesting that they're doing. So there's all right, we talked briefly about how this wine is mostly Sangiovese. This is 85% Sangiovese, and then it's got some Cabernet Sauvignon and a local grape called Canaiolo. I'm sorry, my Italian is awful. Canaiolo Nero. And those just give a little bit of structure.
What cannolis are made from.
Is not what cannolis are made from. But Sangiovese, powerhouse grape of Italy, there's like 700 clones of this grape.
It's a lot of clones.
And so the Chianti Classico consortium have kind of tasked Banfi, because they got a lot of money, with kind of figuring out, using science.
That's nice.
We love science.
Science is great.
Which of these clones are really, truly suited for the Classico region. Because they've been interplanted and moved around so many times. And these clones are, they're just minutely different, but those little minutia make huge differences in what's in your glass. So that's kind of a neat thing that they're doing. And because they're a big international company, they've got the money to do it. And I've never been to visit them, but I've seen the pictures, and gosh darn it, it's pretty.
It does look pretty on their website. I mean, listen,
pretty.
Tuscany is ludicrously pretty. Like, the sunrise in Tuscany is bananas pretty. You can't even put words. It's literally breathtaking. And so, I mean, the color that comes up, I don't know. I clearly don't have any words even right now. So
I feel anytime the word bananas is inserted, it's because there's a lack of words.
Right. It's because I just don't have a pretty enough vocabulary for how pretty it was. But it is. Then you add wine, then you add vineyards, then you add the architecture and
the history and the food, and then just
and you
olive
can smell
trees.
You can smell the sauce. And little pro tip: even if the olives look ripe, don't eat them.
Don't eat them
off the tree, because you'll be sick for the day. That is just a rule I put up for myself. So it's. I mean, listen, Banfi's label indicates how big they are, because I, of course, am a label whore, as we know, not for Gucci, but for wine labels. And I was like, what is this picture of? And it's actually the blessing by an old-timey pope of the Empress of Portugal getting married to her husband, Frederick. And he was I guess he was the emperor of Rome. Or the Italy, because that's how it made her. She was promised to somebody else, and she was like, I don't want to be a duchess. I want to be an empress. I'll marry this Frederick guy. And here's the best quote about their marriage that I found. Eleanor and Frederick were dissimilar and never happy. She was ambitious and willful woman who frequently participated in intrigues, whereas the emperor was a sober and uninspiring man. And he was also apparently a very cheap bastard. So she was originally from Portugal. Some of their children got sick. He insisted it was because she was feeding them Portuguese food. And then he took over the rearing of their children and then wouldn't let her spend any money. And so they died miserably. But they had this beautiful painting. I wish I could remember the name of the artist. I will re-look it up. It means little painter in Italian, his name. But yeah, this is the joining of empires, right?
That was Pio II. That's the Pope.
That's the Pope.
That's the Pope. That was Pio II.
Of course, all the popes, they all look alike.
And I gotta say, on this windy, gaily day when we met at the liquor store to pick out our wine, they had a very large selection of Chiantis. And this one stood out because of the label.
I like a good label. It's pink too. It's a pink label, which you don't often see in a wine because it's kind of a weird color, honestly.
It's a weird color to put on green glass. Yeah.
Yeah. For a wine. And also but it is a beautiful painting and it has a very Tuscan sky. And had I known the painting was more about Portugal and Frederick and boredom and popes, I may have thought this through differently, but it has led us to a delightful.
It has. I'm happy to be drinking this 85% Sangiovese and then a nominal percentage of Cabernet and Canolo Nero.
And 7 Pinot Grigio grapes. Just exactly 7.
Except no. Good call there, Jen. In was it 2000? No, in the 70s, the Consortio said, no more white grapes can go in Chianti Classico. This has to be 100% red-skinned grapes.
But they used to be able to. In the 30s, they could do up to 20% white grapes.
And they still can in Chianti as a region, just not Chianti Classico.
Are we all confused yet? Do you all need more wine and a break? Take a break. Have some more wine. Think about what you'd eat in your Chianti Shire hovel in the hillside with your neighbors Sting and Antonio Banderas. Who apparently both have homes there in the Chianti Shire.
Neither of them are Italian. Look at that.
Right. And Richard Gere, like what? Well, no, because it was for foreigners to buy their homes in Italy in this particular area.
I see.
It indicated that they were all British, but those 3 men are not British.
Sting is Gordon.
Right.
He's British.
Yeah, but Richard Gere is
he's not.
And hold on, Antonio Banderas. Is he Italian? I think
no. I think he's from Saskatchewan.
Probably, yes. Eats a lot of the bacon. He just calls it ham. You know what I mean?
Anyway, go fill up your glass. Think about what you would be cooking with this delicious Chianti Classico, and Jen and I will be back with you promptly.
Oh my gosh, kids. I hope you got yourself some nice salami. Sean is eating it right off his own eyeballs.
Oh my God, that's so good.
He's very shiny from the fat.
I'm going to be a giant pimple tomorrow.
And we got that sound in.
There it is.
But yeah, we're still very much enjoying. I'm a solid half a bottle in to the Banfi Chianti Classico. Sean, the one thing I didn't share earlier when we were just generally talking about Classico is, when you Google Chianti, obviously the first thing that pops up, our dear friend Hannibal Lecter. Yep. And some sites pop up with what we've already covered, that in the book it was not a Chianti. That's right. Was added
we said it was probably a Suave or something along those lines.
An Amarone is what it is.
Amarone. Okay.
In the book. It wasn't a Chianti. But and then all the like cool, is it beans? Should he have eaten beans when he was on meds? Anyway, but this was the second fact about Chianti. And I'll just read it straight out for us because it's fairly interesting. After the first self-sustaining nuclear chain reaction on December 2nd, 1942, physicist Enrico Fermi opened a bottle of Chianti to make a toast. And on the bottle's fiasco, which thank God the only fiasco was on the bottle and not the nuclear chain reaction.
Seriously, yes.
The fiasco was signed by 49 people who witnessed the events in an abandoned rackets course beneath the University of Chicago. Go Chicago.
Wow, then. Look at that.
While most of the signatures on this famed bottle have faded, you can still read Enrico's.
Look at that. Isn't that an interesting fact?
So for those of you just buying Chianti bottles to make candle holders,
you can also use it as an autograph book.
Right? Maybe it's your high school graduation. You didn't get the dog for everybody to sign, that white dog they sell at Party City.
Oh, man. Oh, I forgot about that thing.
Or it's your wedding and one of you is Italian and you don't want to do like a book. Just have everybody sign.
Just fiasco.
Sign the fiasco on the candle holder.
Man, when Broadway reopens, I'm standing outside every stage door with a fiasco. Every single one. And you know, the only person who's going to sign my thing is Frank from New York One, the Broadway reporter. Because he'll be there too. And he'll be like, oh, hey, Sean.
And he'll be like,
scribble,
give me your fiasco. I got this. Can I get a fiaschi? Do you have a fiaschi of the Chiantis?
When I was doing a show in Hong Kong years ago, back when we still did shows, and for some reason he was there reporting for New York
One guy.
Yeah, but he sat next to me in the preview performance, and I was like, "Hey," and he's like, "Oh, hi."
That is so funny.
And then we gave the richest guy in Hong Kong a seizure during that show, and he walked down the aisle and fell over.
Probably not what they were intending.
No. We gave all the proper warnings and stuff. He just didn't think he needed them.
Some people don't.
Yeah,
you know what?
But he
money
cut us a big
can't buy
check,
you
so
class. We learned that from the New York Housewives. Money can't buy you class.
But it can buy you turtle time, and it can buy you Chianti Classico. And I think you should take your money and go buy some Chianti Classico and then come home.
Yes.
Pop it open.
You're going to want to know how to drink it.
That's right. And you should drink this out of a red wine glass.
That makes good sense.
It makes good sense. Don't use a Bordeaux glass, one of those giant big bowl things. That's going to be too much air for this wine. Don't use that. Just use your standard everyday red wine glass. Don't put it in a jelly jar. Don't put it in a stemless, because you don't want your hand heating it up. You want
because you really do want it smells delicious.
It's really nice.
Even half a bottle later, it still smells really good. So you want a glass that's going to kind of catch that
nose, let you get your face in there to smell it.
As much as I love to drink things out of ball jars, you would lose some of that lovely smells.
And then Chianti is the food wine, right? This is the wine to go with every food. That's kind of like if you go online and go to any wine website ever, it's going to say Chianti is your food wine. This is the wine that goes with pasta. It goes with meat. It goes with salads. It goes this is your food wine. And they're not wrong. Chianti
this
Classico
wine would stand up to a lot. Like you could have a very rich, delicious pizza sauce or like a saucy pasta, whatever, or your gravy, whatever you want to call it. This particular wine would stand up to any of it.
This would cut through your most acidic tomato sauce
beautifully,
or your creamiest Alfredo sauce. Absolutely. And it would go well with a prosciutto pizza or gorgonzola pizza would be hella good.
Oh my God, I'm starving. I wish it wasn't so windy.
I know we can't order food because we care about our delivery people.
Our delivery guys would get blown away. And
we care about them. They are humans and deserve our respect.
And
throwing
tips.
that out there. And tips. If you're using Seamless or Grubhub, tip in cash.
If you can, because that's my one. It's my one annoyance with this pandemic nonsense is that I always tip in cash, and I tip big because I was a waiter for 200 years. So you're gonna drive me a pizza, you're getting a $5. Like, come on, give me your money, take all my money. they're not letting them right now because of the germies.
Yeah, the germies.
And I feel bad because I would like to. I have friends that are delivery people who get nothing sometimes because people suck. Don't suck, people. If you're going to order pizza to go with your Chianti, put a nice tip on it.
We're already assuming that if you listen to this podcast, you don't suck.
Amen.
Like, you're a good person who likes wine and likes laughing, and therefore you tip well. But, just be careful. So moving up from Chianti, you got Chianti Classico, what we're drinking now. This is a little bit bigger, a little more expensive. So you might not want to just, if you're having a nicer spaghetti carbonara that you're making for yourself, you got your own eggs, you got your own bacon, something a little fancier.
You've put the work in.
Perfect.
This is so perfect.
Good. And then if you've got to say you've been roasting like a wild boar ragu, something you spend a lot of time on.
I do every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday, Wine Wednesday, Wild Boar Ragu Wednesday, they all tie in.
I get my hunting gear on. I get outside.
Maybe step it up to a Reserva.
Ooh.
Which costs you a little more. Same Chianti Classico Reserva. So it's aged a little longer. It's got a little more depth, a little more profile to it. And it's at least half a point higher in alcohol.
Also, real talk, we're talking like $2 more.
Oh yeah,
we're like at the liquor store we were at, it was like literally like $12.99, $15.99, and then like $18.99.
Yeah,
we're not talking like billions of dollars here, kids.
But if you want to, you can spend that.
Oh, there was more.
Absolutely.
There was more expensive ones.
But if you want to go up, and you want a really nice bottle of Chianti, you want to find your Gran Selezione that we talked about, and that's going to run you in the 20 to 30, maybe plus range. So you don't want a pizza with that. You want a nicer meal.
Listen, if you've shot a boar, treat yourself to a $30 bottle of wine.
Get the bottle. Kids. You deserved it. You probably sweat out all the Chianti you had from that morning anyway. Just dragging the boar back.
Just dragging it back. And if anyone's ever had a homemade meal in Italy, when I went to Italy as a student, we tracked down one of my friend Jenn, who was with us. We tracked down family members of her nonna and people she'd never met, people who only spoke Italian. I was the only one of us that spoke any Italian, and not nearly as fast as these people said it. So literally there would be like 20 minutes of words, and I would be like, do you know someone who does something with banking? It was too fast. But we went to their actual home. They welcomed these 4 American students they'd never met, one of them barely related by blood, into their home, and had just prepared us a tiny snack. And then they opened the door to a 12 top table covered in foodstuffs.
It's just a little snack. That's just a
little
snack.
Like 42 pounds of mozzarella, 32 pounds of prosciutto, so much food, and solidly 100 bottles of Chianti. It was the greatest day ever.
And you know what? With regular, like Chianti, just Chianti region Chianti.
Yeah, this was just basic.
11, 12%. Great, easy drinker. You step it up, you get to Chianti Classico, it has to be 12%. You get up to Superior, it's more than that. And then Reserva is 0.5% more than Classico. So it's just, you get more.
But you're eating a nice heavier food too. So you're not, exactly. You're not going to listen, we're not telling you the percentages so you can go get tanked, kids. If you want to get tanked, you will drink a whole bottle in the course of a 40-minute podcast episode. Don't be dumb.
I wish I had a noisemaker right now.
I know, right? Just something fun, except in my house, it would set off the dog, the bird. Things would go bananas the minute I turned on a noisemaker. So yeah, this is if you are looking for a fun and easy wine to pair with meals once we can have friends over again, or even just for yourself, this is a wonderful choice. Specifically, this Banfi is delicious. But again, like any other wine, there was probably 12 different types of Chianti, not just the classifications, but different vineyards, different labels. So, if you like Chianti, get 2 or 3 different kinds. Try them all.
Look for that DOCG wrapped around the neck of the bottle. Look for the black rooster on the back of the bottle, sometimes also on the neck of the bottle.
Because otherwise the consortia is going to come talk to you.
But in all seriousness, they are great indicators of quality. So like if you see those, you know that you're getting something that's okay.
Plus, you won't have to strip away the straw basket. So
you won't have to strip away the fiasco.
Exactly. So you'll know it's going to be good.
All right. I think that wraps up our talk on Chianti, because otherwise we're going to talk for 3 more hours on this delicious wine. But we do want to say real quick.
Yeah.
This is episode 9.
9.
I know. I can't even believe we've hit 9.
Because
episode
technically
10.
we've hit 18.
Technically we've hit 18. Well,
because we do a bonus episode every time. So kids, it's not just 9 episodes, because there's also a bonus episode.
That's right. To follow, to chase. It's a chaser episode.
We like a good chaser.
And we did mention that on episode 10, we're going to launch our Patreon. So please keep your ears open. Check out our Insta, check out our Facebook, and check out our webpage for more information on that. But for this next bonus episode, we want to do live video questions.
Or audio, if you're...
Or audio.
Listen, some of us have packed on a good COVID-19. You know what I'm saying? So we don't really like videos of ourselves.
Don't like the videos. And, sometimes you don't got a good place to shoot it. You don't want to do it. But send us your video questions, your audio questions.
Or you could just slide into our DMs and type one. We'll accept it.
Yeah, well, of course, we won't disparage any question that comes in.
But we really want to answer some questions, and they can be technical wine questions if you have them. They can be technical life questions if you have them. Seán and I have a lot of answers.
We have answers for everything.
We really do. We can't promise they're correct, but we will give you an answer. So maybe you want to know if you should marry that guy. We'll help you.
We'll help you. Advice 5 cents right here. We are your podcast 5 cents advice. But no, for our next episode, our bonus episode, we really, really want to dive into some of your questions. So please hit us up on Facebook, hit us on Instagram, hit us on our email. We have an email. It's BUP podcast, bottled up podcast, BUP podcast @gmail.com. Get us there, or on our webpage at bottledupbodcast.blog.
Or if you know us, record yourself a memo and just text it to one of us. We will figure out how to download it and put it on our podcast.
We're tech savvy, sure.
We're so tech savvy.
Or just show up to our front door. And
that's fine also.
One of us will record you from 6 feet away asking us a question that we will then answer a week later.
I have a tiny yard. I might shoot some wine at you while you're doing it. You never know, because you can be 6 feet away and still be in my yard. And
if you've had enough Chianti, you never know.
I might throw the whole bottle at you. You literally never know. We're just Italians are crazy. But yeah, so we're dying to answer some questions. We think that this is a very fun. We've definitely gotten questions in the past, and we really wanted to dedicate an episode to that. And if we could have your voice on our podcast too, we'd love that very, very much. So
it would make us feel like a family.
Right. And like the Olive Garden says, we're all family here.
We're all family here. On the Bottled Up Podcast. I'm Seán.
I'm Jen. Neither of us have endless breadsticks, but we love you.
We love you, and we'll talk to you later. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Bottled Up. We hope our quick trip into Tuscany inspired you to learn a little bit more about the world of Chianti and Italian wines. If it did, check out our website, bottledupbodcast.blog, for some fun links and Chianti facts. Again, that's bottledupbodcast.blog. And as we mentioned at the end of this episode, we are looking for video and audio recordings of you, our wonderful, wonderful listeners, asking us your most pressing questions. Wine-related or not, we want to hear them. So send those recordings along, either on social media, email. Our email address is buppodcast@gmail.com, on our webpage, or track us down and ask us in person. If you enjoyed today's episode, please head over to your favorite podcast listening platform and like, rate, and subscribe. Those likes and subscribes are crucial to moving us up the charts and helping more people to discover Bottled Up. While you're at it, head over to our YouTube channel, the link's in the show notes. There you can find audio recording of our current and back episodes, and eventually, fun videos of Jen and I's shenanigans in wine stores, on the road, and just generally drinking. As always, if you have questions, comments, are interested in sponsoring an episode, or just want to chat, you can find us on social media, on Facebook at Bottled Up Podcast, all one word, or on Instagram at bottled_up_podcast. We love to hear from you, so don't hesitate to reach out. Until next time, stay safe, stay warm, and drink up.